Bonsoir les amis, this is Llyane Stanfield, your hostess. And today I have a question for you. Are you using the word on in conversation a lot? Some people do, some people don't. Do you exactly know how to use in the two situations when you actually should only those situations, when you should actually use the word on? Well, if you don't know, then I'm going to tell you tonight when to use the word and how, if you should avoid it or if you shouldn't avoid it. So for now, if you're not a high intermediate to advanced speaker, conversationalist, then please avoid these words like the fire. Do not go into using on, even if you only use it for no. Because there is a problem with that when you replace, because that's pretty much when on is used in French conversation. It replaces the word nous, actually not just the word, but instead of conjugating the verb at the first person plural, it's conjugated at the third person singular. So instead of saying nous allons au marché, we can say on va au marché. Now the problem with that is that you kind of avoid using the verb conjugation in the first person plural, which makes it very hard for you to actually learn the endings and the forms of the verbs conjugated in the first person plural, which is not something that you want. If anything, you really want to have variation in conjugation of the verb in conversation so that you can get used to every form for every person. Now, so please avoid it, really avoid it. There is a problem with it when you use it a lot too, and especially in Canada. I don't know how many of you are from or live in Canada. There is this tendency, because English is much simpler in the verb conjugation, then it is a tendency to replace not just nous but most of the persons with on. I had a student, she was I think grade 4 or 5, and she was telling me a story about them going, I think, for Christmas shopping. And so to her, from the beginning to end, everybody was on. On est parti au marché, puis on est allé dans le magasin pour acheter de la crème glacée, et puis on a acheté le sapin, et puis on everywhere, and I really wasn't sure, first of all, who was that on who left the house. So I didn't know who left the house in the first place for shopping, and then how did they split to do what, because to her everybody was on. So, and she really had problems with conjugating verbs in all the persons, and this is the big danger when you use a lot the word on. Now, let me explain what are the only two situations when you, not only that it's good to use the word on, but you have to, there's no other way. Either everybody does the action of the verb, or you don't know who does the action of the verb. So let me explain. For instance, these are the examples that I prepared for you here. So, quand on a faim, on mange. When we are hungry, we eat. Quand on a faim, on mange. So, who eats when they're hungry? Well, all humans, hopefully. Animals, right? So, everybody really eats when they're hungry. And so the translation would be, we eat when we're hungry, or when we are hungry we eat, or when one is hungry one eats. That's a translation in British English. And so who is that person? Well, it doesn't really matter who it is, but it's like a habit or a custom or something done by everybody. Now that can be, generally speaking, general for beings, but for instance, if we say quand on est fatigué, on se couche et on dort. Quand on est fatigué, on se couche et on dort. When one is tired, one goes to bed and sleeps, or lays down and and sleeps. So now, sure, it could be animals as well, but if I mention the word bed, probably more human than animals, you see, so now I'm in a subset. Another example would be, dans cette école, on parle le français. Dans cette école, on parle le français. In this school, we speak French, or one speaks French, or everybody speaks French. It's like an everybody, all-encompassing for that particular activity. Now, for instance, if we're in a house and we're like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 10, I don't know how many people can be in a house, but if we are in a house and there's a certain thing that we, in this house, we are wiping our feet before entering, I wouldn't use on. So again, this is something subjective. I just don't like this word. It just creates a habit that is really not helpful. So, well, I gave you all the examples. So here you are, when to use it and when not to use it. I strongly suggest do not replace the nous avec on if you're not absolutely solid in verb conjugation. So you have to be absolutely solid in verb conjugation in order to do that little dance with on instead of nous and so. That's all I have for you. Don't forget that we have a free webinar this Sunday, Français Sunday, and I'm going to tell you what is the one biggest mistake that everybody makes, that can probably you make it too, that stops you from speaking fluently in French. And the webinar takes place at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is New York time, and 6 p.m. Okay, and in order for you to know the link and everything, please subscribe to the link above. And even if you don't, you're not able to make it, please do subscribe so that I'm able to send you the link to the replay. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't ever give up on your dream to become bilingual, learn Parisian French on Skype and travel the world. Merci beaucoup et à dimanche. Au revoir.